Egberto, where are you?
And welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. And good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to all the corners of Northeast and Southeast Texas, where our 100,000-watt transmitter gets into every nook and cranny, as well as Southwest and Northwest Louisiana. And of course, good morning to the world. We are going to have a great show for you today. Let's, before we get started, get to the geniuses in the studios who continue to make these tin cans and strings and all these things, no matter how old, no matter how difficult, no matter how worn, continue to work by some method. So, good morning, studio. How are my favorite guys doing?
Through the rain, the snow, the sleet, the freezing cold, the burning heat,
Broken towers,
broken glass.
broken dreams.
You know, we just trudge right on through here at KPFT Houston because that's what we do. And for heaven's sakes, I don't know what's going on with the cutting out of Arnie Arneson every morning. This is the third morning that's happened, and I am very concerned about that. And Arnie fans are too. I mean, we're getting just like boatloads of letters about that saying, hey, quit cutting Arnie off. What are you, a communist or something? No,
No, we're not communists.
communist light.
No,
Maybe.
no, don't say
Uh,
that.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because, in your tin cans and string, we were questioning that this morning whether Jack and I were going to have to do this show. So it's a good thing we didn't have to.
But let me tell you what happened. I use these wireless mics and wireless, wireless everything. And if you're since I'm waiting for the program to start, if you don't start at a certain time, it goes to sleep. So my headset went to sleep, and it didn't
Oh,
give me an
yeah.
indication that it went to sleep until I heard Jack say, "Hey, better so." So, oh my God.
Like, where are you, bro? Well, we missed yesterday's show due to transmitter problems. So I had to hot foot it out there to the transmitter and figure out what was going on. But anyway, Jack, I have no wisdom today, but you have a whole page full.
yeah, I was going to repeat what I did yesterday because it didn't go out. It was yesterday we were talking about the billionaires and how they are. Okay, excuse me. And the rich keep getting richer. The economic model that funnels wealth up the chain must be confronted. All we need to do is look at Germany. Hitler, like Trump, are madmen, no doubt, but it was the same economic model used to make the German industrialists and bankers so wealthy. They started working towards expansion of territories. And we all know how that turned out. I believe the industrialists and bankers here in America were so impressed by the way Germany concentrated so much wealth into so few hands, they decided to bring it to America. Under Reagan, they flipped us to a new economic policy, trickle down economics, but it was really effervesce up economics. Now America is expanding its boundaries economically and militarily, and we have a madman who wants to be a dictator of America. Do the math.
Well, that just didn't work out so well for Germany, did it? You
No,
know,
no.
by the time 1945 rolled around, there was no Germany. So, America, beware of what you're doing because somebody's going to stand up to you and somebody's going to take you out.
Man,
Yeah,
that is.
it is. Go ahead, Egbert.
No, 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 no. Please come on in.
No,
I
no,
want to hear your thought.
I
You
lost my
lost.
train.
I am
Lost
so
my
sorry
train.
by opening my mouth
Well,
and tickling that trend off. But let me tell you, you're right. I mean, I concur everything that you said, brother. I mean, And also what Howard just said, it's something that we better be aware of. An empire in decline, it does. First of all, empires don't have to decline. Great countries don't have to decline. But if the people start believing that they cannot decline or that others won't catch up to them, that's what you get. And for those that, when we look at the type of folks that we're starting to put into political offices right now, and we all gang up on Donald Trump because he's like the face. He's like the
He's the
face of
poster
what
child.
the poster child of incompetence, right? But you don't have to
Hmm.
go too far around even the state of Texas. I mean, if we look at the state of Texas, right, we are a great state, great people, all these great. I love Texas, man. I came to Texas before I came to school. Don't laugh, okay? I used to sing with a group called the Gospel Messengers, right? And churches would I'm a humanist now, but I sang with a group called the Gospel Messengers, and they would bring our group all over to the United States. So we sang in churches from Miami right up to Massachusetts, and from Miami, our base was Miami, and then from Miami right into Texas. And I never forgot going into Lubbock, Texas, and seeing all the cotton stuff, the mills, and I mean, they had these factories and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, this place is great. And just driving around the big state of Texas in those days, it was a Greyhound bus that took us around the country, right? And it was like, wow. And then later on, I was able to come here and go to school and stay. But I mean, it was like you come to this place that you read about and then you see it in reality, big and expansive, and it looks like it's forever that way, and then you live here and it was that way. And then as you're spending decades and decades here, you just start to see the decline that a lot of people who were born here or this is all they've lived don't see. And Jack, when you mentioned about, I mean, not Jack, but Howard, when you mentioned about what happened to Germany and it can happen to us too, I think the problem is a lot of people don't know how serious that is, how true that is. You know what I mean?
It can happen here. In fact, it's happening. The problem with our government is in Texas, it's just backwards. It's just a backward state in as far as the state government goes. I mean, we could rival any third world country as far as the dictator goes
Yeah,
because have, yeah, we have no idea of what they're doing, and they don't either.
yeah.
That's
I
the
don't know.
problem.
Yeah, I don't know if you
It's just
remember Bill Birch. Do you remember that
Yeah.
interview I did with the Railroad Commission guy, right?
yeah. Hmm.
Look at how those people in our brothers and sisters in West Texas, how they generally vote, right? And they're voting for what has he done? He's been going around the state and looking at all these abandoned oil wells and what bad regulation and not enforcing regulations have done around the state. And these are people, the same people that are being affected now are the folks who would have said, have we tired of the government giving us regulations? We don't want regulations, and that's why they elect these Republicans that they elect because it's laissez-faire government, right? No regulations and thieving government. I give you, all the freeways being built are now toll. A lot of the freeways being built are now tollways. Many of them owned by foreign companies. That's what we do here in Texas, folks. All right. Whenever you see
Hmm.
that toll
Yeah.
road, ask who owns it, right? And
Well,
these,
I think I think the
yeah,
Grand Parkway is owned by Chinese interests.
yeah, it's amazing. And we sit back and we just absorb the lies and not only absorb the lies but we don't do our research, so we have all these West Texas folks that are cattle farmers and ranchers and farmers of the land with crap popping out of the ground, radioactive water, all this kind of stuff that isn't well regulated, and they're complaining now, how could this happen? And watch, they go ahead and still elect the same people because, again, they don't quite have those who are informing them appropriately. So maybe we need to
Well,
get our signal to
Alberto,
West Texas. Yes.
you
You know,
know, they regulate things they shouldn't, and they don't regulate things they should.
Yes,
Somewhere there needs to be a flip to regulate the things you should regulate and not regulate the things you shouldn't. I mean, first of all, what comes to mind is reproductive rights.
hmm
That's the right of your own body, what you want to do with your own body. Oh no, we can't have that. But yet you will not regulate a company that's dumping arsenic and all types of toxins in the groundwater. That's backwards.
that is
See what I mean
sad.
about the backward state of Texas? It's they're regulating backwards.
That
So there you
yeah.
go. And I'm a native Texan, man. I was born here. I can say this with all rights. I have seen the most backward government in my life in the state of Texas. They're just there's something wrong with them.
And
That's
it
why I'm
is
going to
sad.
vote them out. I'm going to vote them out. I have
That
to.
that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. In November, we have the opportunity. Remember, every 2 years, you vote for every state rep, every congressional rep. Not all senators in Congress. I mean, in the Senate. But I mean, you have so much power every 2 years. Actually, sometimes it's every year because they're offline elections, and it's time for you to make yourself known. But anyway, we got a great program. The two major
Hey,
stories that I
Egberto,
yes, sir.
Egberto. Hey,
Yes,
no regulation means no responsibility will be taken.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. But look, today's program, there are two major subjects. I mean, there's a funny one from Dr. Glaude when it came to, Donald Trump is, I'm not going to give the punchline. I'm going to let the punchline come out in the piece that I'm going to play. I only have one video to play, and I'm going to start the show with the one video. It's about Donald Trump talking about rehiring Paul Manafort, who is a convicted felon, gave up a lot of our secret election information to Russia, etc. Did a whole lot of bad things, right? And Dr. Eddie Glaude was on a MSNBC show, and I'm not going to give the punchline. I know that Jack saw the punchline already, but it's funny, and I did a little bit of funny stuff with the video, and I wanted to go ahead and play it. And then before we move on to the subject on the economy, meaning raising taxes on those making over 50 million, as well as maybe we can get to it. What the Fed's doing, which is important to you and me. I want you guys. I want my two brothers in the studio to chime in of the end of the video. But also remember, if we don't get to particular items, you can always go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter where it is right there. So let's go to the video and then we'll take it right after. This one was really funny that I mean, it's so true. And I had to do a double take because a lot of folks won't go on national TV or on cable news and say it, right? I'm driving my car and I'm watching MSNBC, Deadline, White House, I think it was on. And Michael Glaude is talking, making some statements, and then he said it, and I'm like, "What? Okay." Then I had to come home and cut the videos because you guys are gonna love this. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Andrew, there's probably no one outside of Robert Mueller himself who was familiar with the investigation than you. What was your first reaction to hearing that he's back?
Well, I thought it might be useful to remind people of exactly who he is. But I also think that if you put this story together with Donald Trump's current words about people who participated in the January 6th insurrection and the assault on Congress trying to overthrow our democracy, that they're hostages and not just criminal defendants. The Paul Manafort piece just becomes just another data point for something that we already know about Donald Trump, and very much running as a sort of outlaw candidate. So this to me seems like a piece of that. But it's worth remembering that Donald Trump is praising somebody who went to trial, as is his right. Paul Manafort was convicted by a jury of his peers of 8 felonies, sort of widespread tax and bank fraud. He then pled guilty to more tax, more bank fraud, obstruction of justice. He admitted that he tampered with 2 witnesses while out on bail. That led to the judge revoking his being out on bail and sending him to jail. He also, as you noted, had ordered that internal polling data be given to his colleague, Konstantin Kilimnik, who was found by the FBI to be closely associated with Russian intelligence. And actually, after the Biden administration took over, it was confirmed and reported that that polling data went to Russia, didn't just go to his associate, that it actually did make its way all the way to the Kremlin. So this is somebody who has a history, a litany of felonies that are quite serious, that usually is not something that is on the resume of somebody who is a campaign manager of one of the 2 major parties in the United States.
So, Eddie, after hearing everything that Andrew just laid out, and when you look at Trump's continued inability to condemn Putin, even in the wake of the death of opposition Navalny, and Russia's highly undemocratic presidential elections, which we've just witnessed over the last 24 hours, what's your assessment of the danger here? How dangerous do you think it is to have someone like Manafort coming back into our politics, back into our political process?
Oh, I think we're at, the highest threat level we could possibly imagine in some ways. And let's add to your description, Mike, what Michael Cohen said in the last hour. Given the bond that he can't make, where is he going to get this money? It actually opens him up to all sorts of influences in so many ways. I think it's so clear to me that the failure to hold Donald Trump accountable over the course of his life has led this man to be able to think that he can act with impunity, that he can act without being held responsible for anything. The idea that Paul Manafort, given what Andrew just laid out, can re-enter politics boggles my mind. And to be honest with you, and I know this may sound a bit, obsessive on my part, damn, white men get breaks, man. I mean, could you imagine?
One more time, Eddie.
There you go.
One more time for the people who didn't hear it.
Damn, white men get breaks, man.
Please.
But could you imagine anybody else being able to do this? Whether it's Trump or Manafort or whomever, it just blows my mind, Mike.
I got nothing.
We got to repeat that clip in slow motion.
Damn, white men get breaks, man.
I got nothing.
I mean, Glaude is right. How many things does Donald Trump have to do to actually pay a price for, to have the population at large pay a price for? But it's, people would say, well, that is Donald Trump. It is Donald Trump, and he's a special person, a billionaire, and maybe some other unique person would have that same thing. But then Donald Trump says, I am going to go ahead and bring back in my former campaign manager who was convicted, and nobody says he can't do it. It's like, all right, if he brings him in, he's disgraced, but he brings him in, he gets a chance. So you see why Eddie Glaude says what he says, because again, it is like if Manafort can come back after being convicted of felonies, after spying for the Russians, after doing all of these things, and he comes back into the fold, do you think Obama or any one of these guys could get away with it, or any woman would get away with it? Hillary Clinton or any? Hillary Clinton didn't even do anything with regards to emails. They talk about scrubbing servers and all of that. They don't know what they're talking about. Emails are all over the place in the ethos. So her having a server in her home, that was the least concern as far as security for emails. But the media knows it, but they don't expand on it. But when Donald Trump talked his stupidity as well, they make it seem as if, oh, it's big thing. But also, again, we ask, these guys are thugs, and we accept them into leadership. We accept them as being okay. And Glaude, I get it. Some of us don't have that privilege of being able to either make mistakes or being able to be uh, thugs, visual thugs in what we do. Wow, that was beautiful. And the panel all thought it was beautiful. This great multicultural panel got itself a great laugh because sadly, that is still America today. Absolutely so. So let me go ahead. John, I'm coming to you here, but I do want to put my two white brothers in the studio on the spot. Hey, was that funny or what, guys?
Oh, we're too busy taking breaks here.
Come on, I want to hear a response whether you agree or not. I want to hear a response. I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, well, yeah, they do. But why are we giving Donald Trump any kind of a break at all? This man is a con man. He's been a con man his whole life. I mean, read The Art of the Deal, his book, and you'll be shocked and go, we want to elect somebody like this? Are you serious? A con man? Of course, then again, Jack, what do you got?
Well, that thing made me think of, convicts in the White House,
Again?
psychopaths in the White House. Who'd have thought?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, that's a sign of the times, man.
Yeah, but anyway, let's go to John because I wanted you guys to comment a little bit more, but let's go to John and we'll take it from there. John, come on in.
Yes, sir. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know if I'm on topic or not, but yes, sir. I don't know if I'm on topic or not, but the Haiti situation
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh boy.
the idea that we're not rescuing or bringing home Americans who are stranded there. Do you have any insight on that? I'm as you know, I'm John the doctor. I've been to
Yeah.
Haiti 3 times to do charitable surgery in the mountains in Haiti, where there's no hot running water, and so it's a real honor to have done that. But my goodness, if I were there as a medical missionary, I'd sure want to be rescued. I don't understand it.
Let me tell you, the Haiti situation is perplexing because what America is telling Americans that are doing great work in Haiti is they're saying, find your way to the embassy and we'll find a way to get you out, but you're on your own to get to the embassy. In other words, we are not going to risk anything to get in there. I mean, look, there's a lot that we could have. Sorry for the coughing. There's a lot that we could have done in Haiti before things got here. We like to play as if Haiti is really just governed by a whole bunch of thugs. Well, I mean, we allow thugs to go ahead and take over in Haiti. But again, like I've said, when we spoke about the migrant issue and all of that, there's so much about our policies that allowed all those things to fester. And I can't get into it in detail right now, but just think the word rice. Think the word we like to work with dictators overseas as we proclaim democracy in America. Anyway, John, continue.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Yeah, it's a tragic country over there. So, and they're all coming trying to escape to the shores of Florida by boat, which is treacherous and dangerous, and lives are lost. Then I just heard that Governor DeSantis is going to not deport them, but redeport them to Massachusetts.
Oh,
so that Haitians who land in Florida are getting shipped up to Massachusetts. There happens to be a large Haitian community in Mass because I spent a chunk of my career in Boston,
right?
And so there's a large Haitian community up there. But be that as it may, it's the games that DeSantis and our governor, what's his name, Abbott, are playing.
Yeah, I mean the thing about it is these guys in humanity at some time is going to come back and bite them. these guys' inhumanity will come back and bite them. Uh, the, I don't get the pleasure that they get. And by the way, it's not only them, it's some of our evangelical Baptist ministers and others that are doing the same darn thing, John. You hear
Yeah,
Pastor Ed Young from Second Baptist Church. I was cutting up some videos. I hadn't gotten through with it yet that I want to play for you guys. You, it's amazing what they've turned evangelicalism into. But anyway, I'm with you on Haiti. We need to do something about it.
yeah. Well, thankfully, I'm a card-carrying Catholic. Our Catholic Church is pretty liberal in that regard. Meaning, they're not as you don't hear of the Catholic Church being having these hard positions like maybe some of our brothers.
Well, you also have to remember that our
And
Pope now is a Jesuit, so that makes a big difference.
yeah, no, he's a cool cat. Yeah,
Yeah.
Argentinian guy. Yeah, well, Alberto, that's all I had. I just maybe you had insight why we're not rescuing people in. But I get it. They can't go into the jungles and forests of Haiti trying to find missionaries. They got to make their way to. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Well, actually, but one quick thing though, John. The fighting and warring factions are not in all the different parts of Haiti, right? The major problem that we're seeing is in Port-au-Prince. We could, in fact, put a police force to help the Kenyans that are out there trying to police the area. In fact, we have Kenyans that are in Haiti right now. I think they could use some help to kind of calm things down. It's not like we would be going into a place full of tanks and bazookas and all of that. We're just talking regular military arms, and you come in there with a thing to help people out. It'll be fine. We don't need an invasion army. What we need is people from different places coming together and policing temporarily. But anyway, thank you, John, for calling in.
Well, the United Nations. That's what the United Nations.
There you go. You nailed it. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Have a great one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Doc. Yes. Let's go to Michael. Michael or Mikel, come on in. Line 3.
Yes, sir. Hey, good morning, Berto.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, just a couple of, if you don't mind, I'd like to go back to the orange Jesus.
Yeah.
They call it for,
yeah.
Yeah. So, real quick, if anybody has any doubt on how he would step into office if for that, it's that tragic that he gets back in. Just watch the way he handled his own party with the RNC, the measures he took to gain total control. If anybody has any doubt how he steps in, that's a good indication. And then the second point, real briefly, is that I think we're going to start to see him crack as his net worth starts to shrink. And I think that's going to play to anyone's advantage who doesn't want to see him step back in. That's all I have to have.
Well, Mikel, before you go, let me just tell you something. He used to collect a lot of money via small donations, and he kept on going to the well, and finally it really started to run dry. He's only collected about, I think it was $3 million, while Biden has collected $50 million in the last period. So that should tell you that what you're saying makes a whole lot of sense. So thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah. One more point too. I think the heroes in this thing, it's been amazing to watch. The heroes are a lot of the women that are taking him on head first, and we're seeing a lot of the men cower to him. And then two, thank God for the Department of Justice. I mean, they are really stepping in and saving. Well, let's hope so. But
Michael, Michael, I want to give you kudos first of all because that is something that I should have said outright. Yeah, the heroes right now, and we've had programs on it where Liz Cheney is one of my. I have nothing. I have no policy I mean, symbiosis with Liz Cheney, but she has been great. Liz Cheney and all the other women that worked in the White House that are out there begging people not to support this guy. They know who he is. Yeah, the women have been showing a lot more cojones than the men on this issue. So you nailed it, women. You know what? There's something about you that have always been the core of this country, even with all the tribulations that you've gone through.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Keep up the good work, Umberto. Thanks for letting me speak a little bit.
Thank you, brother. All right, let's go to brother Harry and then Johnny. Harry, come on in.
Good morning, Professor Humberto Willis. Good morning to Howard and Jack. I wanted to comment on Howard's comments and Donald Trump in a little bit. But first, I'll start off. I like what John said about Haiti. I hope the United Nations come up with a solution to deal with Port-au-Prince, to deal with the Haitians. It's been tragic and bad what's been going on with them. And then when they come here, they get deported, or they get what DeSantis has done or Abbott has done. They get shipped up to the eastern part of the United States, New York, as John was talking about. But anyway, I'll talk about Howard's comments when he was talking about backward thinking. Yeah, another word I'll add is retrograde thinking. And when people aren't informed, they don't make intelligent decisions. And I remember Steve Hunter had Tag, who likes to call this show and Steve Hunter's show. He was talking about how they've suppressed the gerrymandering in Michigan. Some of that problem in this state is the gerrymandering, is why these Republicans get voted back into legislation. We got to get rid of the gerrymandering. And I remember Steve asking Tag to send some information on how they can do that down here in Texas. Now, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, let's talk about they're going to start seizing his assets in New York because he can't get a bond to pay his bills, or as Tom Hartman always likes to preach on his show, he never likes to pay his bills. And besides, bond holders don't, or bond people don't want to give him a bond because he wouldn't be able to pay them back. So let's just, he's in a lot of trouble and a lot of debt, and he's going down the tubes. And like I said, Howard had mentioned that he and the other Republicans are self-destructing, and I hope Howard's prediction comes true. And I hope your prediction comes true as well, Professor Willis, that we will defeat him at the polls.
Let me just say this, John, Harry. Let me just say one thing real quickly, and to what you're saying. First of all, I don't hold a lot of hope that that assets are gonna be seized from Donald Trump or anything like that. I mean, I think there is a power base, a privileged base in this country that Donald Trump is really a part of. I think if you take a look at all what the Supreme Court has been doing, what the judge in Florida has been doing, they have been given Donald Trump a pass. No, a very few people get. There is some rationale to say that there are certain classes that don't get touched. And again, when you have a president saying, even for the immunity thing that the Supreme Court is going to take on, whether they accept it or not, but they're delaying it right now. When a president can come out and say, there's been 44 presidents before you. None of them have said immunity, not having some kind of a perfect immunity prevents them from running a country. And he goes out and he says it, and the Supreme Court takes it up as if it could have some validity. That tells you there is something wrong. But Harry, I got to go to our mayor of politics and right, brother Johnny. Okay.
I'll say one more thing before I let you go.
Real quick.
I prayed for you last night at my recharge the week. And how is your wife, Laura, and how is Ashley? How are they doing?
Thank you so kindly. I am spending the nights at the hospital. I drive back to the studio, my studio, at 4:30 in the mornings to be here on time, and she takes over. So I mean, she's still there. She's probably going to be there a few more days. But the thing about it is, we see some improvement in. Again, she has lupus and shingles, not a good combination, and that
I keep
it's been
praying
very
for you.
difficult. Go
I
ahead.
keep praying for you, Berto.
I
keep praying
look.
that
I
God,
appreciate the prayers
God
and I
will
appreciate the
give you the healing.
calls. Thank you, brother. I
Okay.
appreciate you.
I'll
Let's
follow
go to
you,
brother.
I'll
Thank you. Let's go to brother Johnny, mayor of politics and right. You're on, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm feeling like a mayor right now, but to answer your other caller's question, John, he asked you about Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Donald Trump can answer all the questions the American people have about Haiti when he gets back into the White House with 9 or 10 simple words. Haiti is surrounded by big water, lots of water. That's all you need to know about Haiti.
I get it. I get it. You must have listened to Trump's interview when he did that. Yeah, go ahead.
More seriously, if that caller is really interested in wanting to know about Haiti, he can simply find out on his own by Googling 2 people. John Perkins has lots to say about how we interfered with Haiti over the decades. And then Naomi Klein will close it up with this concept called disaster capitalism. And she can cite Hillary and Bill Clinton and what they were up to down in Haiti, pretending to be the helpful white man on the horse, having people making sneakers for sub-minimum wage. Why don't we leave these people alone and let them govern? They've already proven that they could fight for themselves and win their freedom against the French. Why do we have to keep bullying people and exploiting people? Why can't we just treat people like humans? They, along with Cuba and Venezuela and Iran, they would be the best trading partners, the best allies. But no, we have to pretend that we're the man on the white horse and we know about democracy. We don't even know how to practice it here at home. That's my answer to your call.
Johnny, let me just say something that you brought up, right? Because I think Brother John's question was really valid, and it's actually a lot more than water. Now, when we talk about the border and the immigrants coming over the border, and we have everybody wanting to build a fence and put all these things on the border, I always say the problem is not the border. The problem is everything that caused the people to go to the border. And I'm glad that you mentioned Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Some people say, oh, we only attack Republicans or things like, no, we attack bad politicians, period. We attack politicians who do the wrong thing with the expectation that the people who are listening to us will vote the right ones in. I am glad you brought up Brother Clinton, because Brother Clinton has confessed that he erred with Haiti and the policies with Haiti that is pretty much the genesis of what's going on right now, right? And it doesn't only have to do with the cheap sneakers or the cheap exploiting the cheap labor in, let's say, Haiti or anywhere else. It has to do with rice policy that affect farmers and threw people into Port-au-Prince. And as they go into Port-au-Prince, because they can't farm anymore, then they come across, they find the next best place, the promised land, America. And we can repeat these things country after country after country. Unfortunately, most Americans don't get the news to understand what we are doing. What you called it again? It's what the woman who wrote Disaster Capitalism.
Capitalism.
Right. This is called Disaster Capitalism, but she wrote the book. I interviewed her in Las Vegas a few years ago. Can't remember her name. But anyhow, she wrote. Go ahead.
Naomi Klein, isn't it?
Naomi Klein wrote the book on how the Chicago boys went ahead and just about took over, try to push this form of capitalism around the world, and what it really was us creating our servants across. Another interesting thing, because I don't know, we need our American brothers and sisters to realize this. The same thing that we have done to Haiti, that we've done with the Chiquita banana all over Central America with the growing. I don't remember the name of the fruit corporations that all over Central America. The same thing that we did there to exploit and maximize profits, right, is the same thing that has now come to America's workers. And we have got to understand it, because you run out of people to harm, right? I mean, it's not that you're harming people; you run out of people to exploit. So we go around exploiting, and eventually, when you run out of people to exploit, you have to start exploiting your own. And that is what happened in Appalachia. That is what happened in the Midwest. All these people that believe they're the forgotten people are not really the forgotten people. They're the sacrificial people. We don't have a lot of news media in these places for them to see what's going on. We don't have a lot of news media in all these places where Americans are being affected. They talk about how Republicans clean up in the rural areas, etc. It's because those are the areas that their policies screw people, and then they say, look, it's those immigrants. It's those people. And as they continue to screw these people, there's no media to cover exactly what's going on with them, right? They don't know that they're being screwed. They don't, by the people they're voting for, because nobody's telling them. And the darn confounded Democratic Party consultants are not telling the right folks to go. And Bill Birch, that we interviewed here with the Railroad Commission, he lost big to a darn Democratic, a Democratic, laissez-faire capitalist that's running for Railroad Commission. Here was Bill Birch, this great guy who was trying to save the farmers in rural America, West Texas, and all these other places. And he's making inroads. He just didn't have the time or the money. But the people, when they started to hear him, when they started to see that his facts match what was occurring on their land and whose fault it is, he was superseding party. He was going beyond Republican and Democrat. He was going beyond all of that. And people saw somebody who just wanted to work and make the system work. That's what we want to do. Johnny, you can come back in, and then I'll go ahead and see if I can get to a couple of my other subjects. Come on in, Johnny.
Okay, quickly. Finally, the ultimate irony about hedge fund bunny Hillary Clinton is that up on the debate stage with Donald Trump, dressed in her royal blue corporate pantsuit, she admitted that from time to time, we have to rescue our version of capitalism with socialism. Talk about irony. She and her husband go down to not practice socialism in Haiti, and then she's on the debate stage so arrogantly and smugly saying something that's so truthful. And this is what annoys me. They are just as capable as Republicans of talking out both sides of their mouth. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Johnny. 713-526-5738. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 713-526-5738. Before I go to Augie, I want to say something. First of all, I'm not a Hillary Clinton fan, but I don't want to judge Hillary any harder than I judge any other guy at all. Okay, I don't want to do that, because what Hillary did some great things in South Texas before she was absorbed by the neoliberalism of, and by the way, her parents, if I recall, were Republicans, and she became a progressive who went down to South Texas and did a whole lot of good things. So I don't want to ever take away the good things people do, but neoliberalism has a way of eating folks. It has even eaten, to some extent, Barack Obama with some of the things that he did in the latter stages of his thing. It just does something if you're not careful. So let's go to Augie.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
This morning about Paul Manafort and like white privilege, and it's something like what I talked about last Friday about the mental health problems we got here. And people I know, Republicans, are talking about how they're having trouble getting mental health care for their kids. But that's also in mental health care, where the police, when they see somebody with a mental health crisis, if it's a black guy with a knife, they shoot to kill him. But if it's a white guy with a mental health problem and a knife, they talk him out of it. They don't do anything to him. But there was a guy that called in last Friday after I had talked about that mental health problem, saying I was wrong because I didn't talk about the mental health problem with the prisons. But I had talked about it previously when I said something about what a lousy governor George W. was and lousy president when he started shutting down our mental health program. And I talked about it, how it was costing us twice as much by jailing these people. But most of them are minorities and not whites that are being attacked. So that just sort of rang a bell when you started talking about it at the beginning. But yeah.
Let me just say, let me add to something that you said there, Augie, because I think it's important. For us to solve problems, we have to look at all the same facts. I mean, I was driving my car with my brother, who is a great supporter of the program as well, Bruce, my buddy. I come into the studio with sometimes, and he was waving at a cop on a motorcycle and all of that, and my heart is in my throat because I don't deal. Look, I'm a professional. I do a whole lot of stuff, but I don't mess with the I stay as far as I can from the law so that there are no accidents. Nobody know who you are, and people cops take chance. A lot of my white brothers and sisters don't see that. When we tell them that this stuff occurs, it's no, not really. If you're a clean cut person, that doesn't happen, right? And I'm glad that you did mention that many of us who have to live this all the time, no matter who you are. And again, I went to the University of Texas, man, so I've been in the environment. When you see this, you have to acknowledge it. When we can acknowledge that this is a reality, then we can solve problems. We can first of all purge the folks that put that out there. So thank you for bringing that up, Augie. And I'm getting my lines full again, Augie. So say something real quick so I can go to Derek.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm glad you bringing this up and let people know, particularly the white folks, hey, there's problems here against one group, and we got to acknowledge that too.
No, but wait, I want to. You always do this to me. You make me say something that add something else to it. But I always look at Obama and Trump, that many respect Trump more than they do Obama. Obama, nuclear family, one wife, did all the things right, did the things that the people say it's the American thing to do. Donald Trump lived several baby mamas, got people to have abortion, all these kinds of things. And he's held in the same esteem or better with many. That should tell you something. It should tell you something. But anyway, Augie, thank you, brother.
I think about Obama. He saved the auto industry himself. And now Trump is saying that he's going to take care of the auto industry.
Oh, that's a joke. We know that's comical. That's comical. But thank you, Augie. I got to jump to Derek. Thank you, brother. Let's go to Derek. Come on in, Derek.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Great call, Johnny. Great call. Roberto, think about this. It goes to show you just how dependent the world's people are. Man, the people are dependent, calling for the United Nations. United Nations make up 193 countries. And you mean to tell me they can't deal with Israel? And then here we are, one nation sit there and put up a veto. I'm at a loss here. Are you the United Nations, or have you become the United Cowards?
United Cowards. I think you got it right. United Cowards. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. And then another thing, that it seems like they're willing to act for the people for the countries that are the higher bidders. What have they become? The ladies of the night. This is weird, man. This is messed up.
But there are organizations outside of the United Nations, countries outside of the United Nations are actually getting together to prevent some of, not prevent, to mitigate some of these things. I give you a classic example. First of all, I want to qualify that I am no fan of Russia. What Russia is doing in Ukraine is disastrous. It's just as genocidal as what Netanyahu is doing in Gaza, with different parameters, of course. But the other thing the other sides that you have to look at is, and I looked at it with sort of amusement, because there was a time when, because we control the financial doings of the world, meaning all electronic transfers and ACH and all of that went through American banks only and through the American dollar, that by now Russia would have been crippled. But now there is a secondary market out there. And if you notice, Russia, while our news people are telling us how badly Russia is doing, they're doing, guess what, Derek? They're doing pretty darn well. So there's going to have to be a paradigm shift in how we deal with world thugs, both outside of America and our own thugs. You're going to have a way to deal with them more from not an American centric manner anyway, but in a more respectful way around the world. Anything else, Derek, before I jump to Brian?
No, I think you said it, brother, because it's just baffling that the United States was the only lone nation, and that one veto carried, you know what I'm saying, away the whole action of what 192 nations. Come on, man.
I tell you what, would be a great showing. A great showing would have been if a whole lot of what we call third world countries all put up a couple of ships or something, right? And go into the Mediterranean and bring food and all of that for the people suffering in Gaza. And let's watch Israel try to bomb the ship that's trying to help people. I mean, but what you talked about, what you started and you said, is it the United Nations of cowards? Yes. Because I tell you, it's not difficult for us to have gotten Brazil. I'm talking bigger nations now, Brazil, that don't agree with the American policy. Brazil, India. I won't say Pakistan because they're in cahoot. They are having issues with India. But let's look at those major powers, right? And have them send a couple of mega ships full with a hospital ship, a food ship, etc. And forget about what America says. Forget about what Israel say. Just train their engines and move forward into the Gaza Bay or whatever it's called, where they have the thing, and let Israel try to bomb them. That is what we would call that. That would change the paradigm. Thank you very much, Derek. Let's jump to Brian real quick. Brian, I don't have much time because the phone lines are filling up. Come on in, Brian.
Okay, what was Obama doing at number 10 Dowling Street in London last week?
I have no idea. Do you?
No, I mean, some of us want to know these type of answers.
Why? He's a private. Wait. Hold on. He's a private citizen, right?
Yeah.
Is Obama a private citizen? Yes or no? Is the okay? My brother, stop, brother. My brother. If Obama is a private citizen and Obama wants to go to England, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Why is it your business? Are you paying him?
No. Yes, I am paying him.
How is that?
Okay. Does he have Secret Service?
Yes, he has, because he was the president of the. No, we are paying the Secret Service to make sure nobody grabs him and force him to reveal our secrets. It's no favor to Obama; it's a favor to the country. So he's not doing that for the Secret Service. Is not there for Obama; it is there for us.
No, it's there for him.
No, it's there for us because if something happens to him, we are in danger. Like, Brian, I got to go to Donald real quick because we don't have much time. Donald, you got 30 seconds.
What happened to those money exchangers in that temple with that one guy that is in that book?
Which book?
That's what I want to know, because the Bible, the Jesus.
Oh,
Now these money exchangers. Where are they at? If you trace their roots, you will find where that money is at, and that's what
okay.
TikTok is to do, and that's why they're wanting to silence it.
All right, Donald, let's talk about that. Donald, you have some good stuff about TikTok, why they want to ban TikTok, and even Howard spoke about that yesterday too. So you nailed it. 2 days ago, you nailed it. Let's go to Lee. Thank you, brother. Let's go to Lee. Lee, you have about a minute.
Okay. Who of all the people screaming around the world is going to go in and make sure that Hamas doesn't steal all the aid being sent for the people of Gaza? Because that's what's happening. They are stealing it. They're shooting their own people. And all the screaming and yelling in the world isn't going to help the people of Gaza until Hamas is held to account. I don't hear anybody.
Lee?
Thank you.
No, Lee, please stay on a bit because I want to tackle that real quick. Oh, she left. Anyway, she got her piece to say, but let me say that remember, we have to be careful with where reporting is coming from. And Harry, you only got, and I mean it, 15 seconds.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on what Augie said quickly. When it's Kyle Wittenhouse or Dylan Roof, the police don't do anything. When it's that guy who has autism, just has a hammer, a black kid in California, a deputy shoots him. Well, Augie, kudos. You were right on about that.
I made thank you, Harry. Got to go. I made a long video of all the major shootings, and I pretty much that was pretty much evident. So thank you, brother. Let's go to the studios with our geniuses. Come on in, brothers.
Well, I think somebody took my thunder here. I was going to talk about TikTok. And yeah, that's why they're trying to get rid of it. They are exposing the major people with all the money, BlackRock, Vanguard, Goldman Sachs, all the rest of them. They're exposing them. Plus, you're getting the unfiltered news from what's going on over in Gaza. So yeah, we can't have that. Our rich people going, oh, wait a minute, they're going to expose us. We can't have that. They're going to make us look bad. So that's why they're trying to get rid of TikTok. Jack, what you got?
Well, Haiti has always been the redheaded stepchild of the world, and they're just being still punished for evicting the French. And fighting is all over Haiti right now.
Oh man, having smart folk like the studio, man. People don't realize that in Haiti, people had to pay for their freedom. The slaves, after they liberated themselves, France forced them to pay back the property that they were to France. Anyway, folks, Lee, I'm sorry you called late. I want you to call tomorrow. Let's entertain some of what you had to say about Hamas, Netanyahu, etc., and have a cogent, intelligent conversation about that. I want to do that. Thank you for calling in, Lee. I don't think we've heard from you before. Thank you, all listeners. Thank you, studio, Harry and Jack, Harold and Jack, Howard and Jack. What the hell's wrong with me? Howard and Jack, thank you so kindly for all that you guys do. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government buy-in for